नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवती नैष्ठिकी। Srimad Bhagavatam, second canto, chapter 7, scheduled incarnations, text 7 or text 8. Viddhaha sapatni udita patribhi anti ragyo balopi san upagatas tapase vanani tashma adad dhruva gatim grinate prashanno divya stubanti munayo yad upari adhasta vidyo sapatnodito pratibhir antiragyo balopi sannupagatas tapase vanani tasma adad dhruvagatim grinate prasanyo divyastubanti munayo jadupayartathastat vidya sapatnodita patribhiranti ragyo balopi sannupagatas tapase vanani tasma adad dhruvagatim grinato prashanno divyastubanti munayo jadupayadhasta vidya sapatnodita patribhirantiragyo balopi sannupagatas tapase vanani tasma adad dhruvagatim grinate prasanyo divyastubanti munayo jaduparyadhasta Viddha, pinched by sapatni, a co-wife, udita, uttered by patribhi, by sharp words, anti, just before, ragya, of the king, balaha, a boy, api, although, son, being so, upagataha, took to, tapase, severe penances, vanani, in a great forest, tasmai, therefore, adat, gave as a reward, Dhruvagatim, a path to the Dhruva planet, Grinate, on being prayed for, Prasanna, being satisfied, Divya, denizens of higher planets, Stubanti, do pray, Munayaha, great sages, Yat, thereupon, Upari, up, Adhastar, down. Translation by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. Being insulted by sharp words spoken by the co-wife of the king, even in his presence, Prince Dhruva, though only a boy, took to severe penance in the forest, and the Lord, being satisfied by his prayer, awarded him the Dhruva planet, which is worshipped by great sages, both upwards and downwards. Please repeat after me. Being insulted by sharp words, spoken by the co-wife of the king, even in his presence, Prince Dhruva, though only a boy, took to severe penances in the forest. And the Lord, being satisfied by his prayer, awarded him the Dhruva planet, which is worshipped by great sages, both upward and downward. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. When he was only 5 years old, Prince Dhruva, a great devotee and the son of Maharaj Uttanapad, was sitting on the lap of his father. His stepmother did not like the king patting his stepson, so she dragged him out, saying that he could not claim to sit on the lap of the king because he was not born out of her womb. The little boy felt insulted by the act of his stepmother. Nor did his father make any protest, for he was too attached to his second wife. After this incident, Prince Dhruva went to his own mother and complained. His real mother also could not take any step against this insulting behavior, and so she wept. The boy inquired from his mother how he could sit on the royal throne of his father. And the poor queen replied that only the Lord could help him. The boy inquired where the Lord could be seen, and the queen replied that it is said that the Lord is sometimes seen by great sages in the dense forest. The child prince decided to go into the forest to perform severe penances in order to achieve his objective. Prince Dhruva performed a stringent type of penance under the instruction of his spiritual master, Sri Narada Muni, who was specifically deputed for this purpose by the personality of Godhead. Prince Dhruva was initiated by Narada into chanting the hymn composed of 18 letters, namely Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. And Lord Vasudeva incarnated himself as Krishnagarbha, the personality of Godhead, with 4 hands, and awarded the prince a specific planet above the 7 stars. Prince Dhruva, after achieving success in his undertakings, saw the Lord face to face, and he was satisfied that all his needs were fulfilled. This planet awarded to Prince Dhruva Maharaj is a fixed Vaikuntha planet installed in the material atmosphere by the will of the Supreme Lord, Vasudeva. This planet, although within the material world, will not be annihilated at the time of devastation, but will remain fixed in its place. And because it is a Vaikuntha planet, never to be annihilated, it is worshipped even by the denizens of the 7 stars situated below the Dhruva planet, as well as by the planets which are even above the Dhruva planet. Maharshi Bhrigu's planet is situated above the Dhruva planet. So the Lord incarnated himself as Krishnagarbha just to satisfy a pure devotee of the Lord. And Prince Dhruva achieved this perfection simply by chanting the hymn mentioned above, after being initiated by another pure devotee, Narada. A serious personality can thus achieve the highest perfection of meeting the Lord and attain his objective simply being guided by a pure devotee, who automatically approaches by dint of one's serious determination to meet the Lord by all means. The description of Prince Dhruva's activities can be read in detail in the 4th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtham Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayham Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Satrajatam Sahaganam Raghunathan Vitam Tvam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanitanscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamam Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhascha Kripa Sindhubhaivacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Ram Ram Biddha Sapatno Dita Patribhiranti Ragyo Balo Pisannupagatas Tapase Vanani Tasma Adad Dhruvagatim Grinate Prasanya Divyastu Banti Munayo Yadupasthastat. Being insulted by sharp words spoken by the co-wife of the king, even in his presence, Prince Dhruva, though only a boy, took to severe penance in the forest, and the Lord, being satisfied by his prayer, awarded him the Dhruva planet, which is worshipped by great sages, both upward and downward. So here in this chapter, entitled as Scheduled Incarnation, Lord Brahma is instructing Narad Muni about different incarnations of the Lord when he comes to perform his pastimes. So this is the 7th incarnation of the 23 that have been described in this chapter. Describes how Lord as Krishnagarbha appeared to please his great devotee Dhruva Maharaj and to grant him the benediction of the most elevated planet in this universe, Dhruva Loka, which is actually the Vaikuntha planet. In this universe also there is a Vaikuntha planet, which is the Dhruva Loka. All the other planets and all the other stars and luminaries are rotating in this universe. But Dhruva Loka is the only star that is fixed. In English it's called the North Pole or the polar star. I'm sorry, not North Pole, but the polar star. That, and in Sanskrit it is known as Dhruva Nakshatra. And because this is fixed, there is an expression, Dhruva. Dhruva means fixed. Like for example, the expression Dhruva Satya. Dhruva Satya means that is truth, that is absolutely fixed. There is not going to be any change in that truth. It's called Dhruva Satya or Dhruvam. The expression Dhruva came from the name of Dhruva Maharaj. He is the son of King Uttanapad, and Uttanapad had two wives, Suniti and Suruchi. Somehow he became very attached to his second wife, Suruchi, and he neglected his first wife, Suniti. Suniti was not even staying in the palace, she was staying in a hut. And Dhruva was Suniti's son. Now, according to the Vedic culture, the elder son inherits the father's property. So in that sense, Dhruva, being the elder son of King Uttanapad, was the natural successor to the throne. But Suruchi, the second wife of the king, was very envious of Dhruva because she decided that Dhruva should not inherit the kingdom. Her son should inherit the kingdom. Therefore, one day when Dhruva was sitting on the lap of his father, and the father, naturally out of his affection, was caressing the little boy, just a 5-year-old boy, Suruchi couldn't tolerate that sight. She just dragged the child out of the father's lap and said that you do not have the right to sit on your father's lap because you are not born out of my womb. If someday you receive the good fortune of being born out of my womb, then only you can think of becoming the successor to the throne of your father's kingdom. So Dhruva was just a 5-year-old boy, so he didn't know what was happening, but he was very insulted that his stepmother behaved like that with him. So he, crying, went to his mother, Suniti, and told what happened. That his stepmother didn't allow him to sit on his father's lap, dragged him from his lap and he was sitting on his father's lap. So his mother also felt very helpless. She said that she also couldn't do anything. But Dhruva was very much insulted and he was very determined. In this respect, Prabhupada pointed out that's the nature of a Kshatriya. A Kshatriya is very determined. A Kshatriya, when he is insulted, he must take revenge. That's the nature of a Kshatriya. That if somebody insults him, he can't tolerate that insult. So he wanted to take revenge by acquiring a kingdom which is even greater than his father's kingdom. Not only his father's kingdom, greater than his great-grandfather's kingdom. His great-grandfather is Lord Brahma. Brahma's son is Swayambhuva Manu, and Swayambhuva Manu's son is Uttanapad, Dhruva's father. So, in a childish way, he actually committed this, he made this resolution, or but his mother told that the only person who can help him in his fulfilling his desire is Hari, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Dhruva asked, where can I find Hari? The mother said, you go and ask Hari. And Dhruva naturally questioned, where can I find Hari? The mother said that when people want to see Hari, they go to the forest. And sometimes the great saintly personalities, after severe penances, get to see him. So Dhruva went to the forest straight away. A 5-year-old boy, but he is so determined. So in this way we can see how the spirit soul is not actually affected by the body. Or the body may have been 5 years old, but his spirit soul was a Kshatriya spirit soul, very determined, naturally aggressive, and when insulted, when hurt, he is determined to take revenge. Nobody had to teach him anything. That now that you have been insulted, you have to take revenge. It was inherent in him. So the characteristics of the spirit soul remains even though in an immature child's body. So Dhruva Maharaj then went to the forest and he was searching for Hari. Where is Hari? Where is Hari? And the forest was filled with wild animals, ferocious wild animals like lions, tigers, and so many other ferocious animals. And Dhruva was fearlessly approaching them, asking where is Hari, whether they themselves saw Hari, or whether they could tell him where is Hari. But those wild animals, ferocious wild animals, did not harm Dhruva Maharaj. So this is another very wonderful instruction that we receive from the scriptures, that when one is sincere in searching the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Lord gives him all protection. Even in the middle of the forest, surrounded by wild animals, he remains unharmed, because Lord, as the Super Soul, gives him all protection. So that is how the Supreme Personality of Godhead takes care of the sincere seekers. So Dhruva Maharaj, and then when Dhruva was searching so sincerely in this way, ultimately Narad Muni appeared to him. Narad Muni saw Dhruva Maharaj searching, and Prabhupada also pointed out, Jai Shri Krishna Balaram Ki, Jai Shri Shri Radha Madan Mohan Lalita Vishakha Devi Ki, Jai Shri Shri Gaur Nitai Ki. So, Narad Muni, Prabhupada pointed out that Narad Muni had been deputed specially by the Lord to go and instruct Dhruva Maharaj. So here also we can see another wonderful arrangement that the Lord makes. One thing is, in order to approach the Lord, one must approach Him through a bona fide spiritual master. That is one thing we learn from this incident. That even Dhruva Maharaj, although he is a little child, he needed to be instructed by a spiritual master. And that spiritual master was sent by the Supreme Personality of Godhead Himself. He arranged that Narada would come and instruct. And that's what has been pointed out. Guru Krishna Prasade Pai Bhakti Lata Beach. By the mercy of Krishna, he gets a guru, and by the mercy of the guru, he gets the seed of Bhakti Lata, devotional creeper. And Narad Muni instructed Dhruva to meditate upon the Supreme Personality of Godhead, chanting the mantra. Another instruction we receive here is meditation should not be silent meditation. Meditation is meditation on a mantra. Like nowadays people have invented all kinds of concocted meditating processes of meditation. They sit down and they try to make their mind free from thoughts and so on and so forth. But that's not meditation. Meditation is meditating on the mantra. And Dhruva was given the mantra by the spiritual master Narada. And as he became absorbed in the mantra, Dhruva Maharaj became more and more detached from material nature. He even forgot all his material needs of hunger, thirst. Even he stopped to breathe. Dhruva Maharaj became so detached from his body that all the needs of the body were not at all important, or these needs were not at all affecting him. So he stopped eating. Initially he was just taking some dry leaves. Then he stopped even taking the dry leaves. He just then started to just drink some water once in a while. Then he even stopped drinking because these were, the search for that or feeling the need for that was an impediment. So he did not need that. So he stopped even drinking. And then he became so absorbed in meditating on the mantra, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, that he even forgot to breathe. It's not that he was trying to control his breathing artificially. So this is how we can see how Bhakti Parishanubhava Viraktir Annatracha. As one develops bhakti to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he becomes detached from everything else. Annatracha. So the detachment is not an artificial cultivation. Yes, initially it may be practice, like we are practicing now. Today is Ekadasi. We are practicing to fast. But initially what we do? We don't really fast. We just abstain from grain. We call it Ekadasi fast, but how is it fasting? If we are eating, then how can it be called fasting? It's not fasting. We are abstaining from grains. But then as we become Bhakti Parishanu Bhava, as our devotion increases, then we will become more detached from these needs of the body. There will be like fasting till 12 o'clock. Not fasting the whole day. Ekadasi fast is 12 noon. And then have some anukalpa. Anukalpa means food without grain. Food that are non-grain and non-bean foodstuffs. I suggest that when the devotees can, they can try to fast till evening. Everyone fasts here till 12. No. Then those who are more advanced, those who are developing taste for Krishna consciousness and developing attachment to Krishna, what they will do? How will we see their attachment to Krishna? So they will extend their fast a little more. They'll fast till, say, sunset. And when they become even more attached to Krishna, then what they will do? They'll fast till next morning. Actually, fasting means fasting till next morning. Fast and then break fast. Break fast the next morning. Before the Parana. During the Parana. There is a specific time when the fast is broken. So in this way, one practices to become detached from material nature, but ultimate detachment will come out of our attachment to Krishna. To the extent we will become attached to Krishna, to that extent we will become detached from matter. That is the natural development. Not that we artificially try to become detached and then we become attached to Krishna. No, it won't work like that. Rather, we develop our attachment to Krishna and then detachment to matter will automatically take place. So Dhruva Maharaj stopped to breathe. And when Dhruva Maharaj stopped to breathe, then the whole air of the universe got choked. Because Dhruva Maharaj was not breathing, no one could breathe. Even the demigods were suffocating. And they are Lord Brahma then approached the Supreme Lord and told him, please do something about this. We are suffocating. You do something about this situation. Then the Lord appeared to Dhruva. And Dhruva Maharaj saw the beautiful form. It's an undescribable beauty. The form of the Lord is beautiful. And Dhruva Maharaj, by seeing the Lord, became so overwhelmed with emotion that he wanted to sing his glory and to describe how wonderful, how beautiful he is. But he was only a 5-year-old boy. He didn't know how to glorify the Lord. So the Lord, with his conch shell, touched his forehead. And when the Lord touched his forehead, Prabhupada actually mentioned his cheek, touched the cheek with his conch shell. And it's because there is a slight difference in these two words. Forehead is kopal and cheek is kopol. So when the word is taken as kopol, then it is the cheek. But when the word is kopal, then it is the forehead. So when Dhruva Maharaj was touched by the conch shell of the Lord, then he became so eloquent. By the mercy of the Lord, Dhruva Maharaj started to describe the most wonderful prayers in glorification to the Supreme Personality of God. And so then the Lord asked Dhruva, so Dhruva, tell me what you want. And Dhruva said that, I don't want anything. I don't want anything. Just I have seen you, that's the greatest achievement. What else do I need? And it's a mistake that I became so childish in my behavior. Being insulted, I wanted to have a kingdom greater than my great-grandfather, but now I can see that it's so insignificant. Compared to your darshan, all these material achievements are so insignificant. So I don't want it. But the Lord said, okay, that Dhruva, since you desire, it's in your mind. So fulfill that. Due to I'll make arrangements that you will get the Vaikuntha planet on this universe. That will become your planet. And prior to that, you just go and fulfill your desire. Become the king. And in this way, Dhruva Maharaj had to accept the responsibility of his father's kingdom. And in the meantime, due to the divine arrangement of the Lord, everyone's mind changed. The Lord as a super soul makes all the arrangements from within. Like everyone became favorable. His father, stepmother, everyone became favorable to Dhruva. And so when Dhruva returned, they all received him with open arms. And then it has been described that after his retirement, after he took to Vanaprastha order of life, Dhruva Maharaj went to the Himalayan mountain, Badarikashram, and there he was associating with the saintly personalities, the great sages, and he was spending his time in that way, in the association of great saintly personalities. And then the Lord sent the chariot with the two Vishnu Dutas, and the chariot came to Dhruva Maharaj, and Dhruva Maharaj was told that the Lord sent him the chariot. Then Dhruva prepared himself to go to the Lord, and he took his bath, bade farewell to all the sages in the Badari ashram, and then he circumambulated the chariot before embarking on the chariot. And when Dhruva Maharaj was about to climb the chariot, then he found that death personified standing there with folded hands. And he begged him, please bless me before departing from this world. So Dhruva Maharaj very mercifully stepped on death's head to climb onto the chariot. So this is how death greets a pure devotee. Death doesn't approach a pure devotee to take everything from him, everything away from him. Mrittu sarva haraschaham. Death sarva haraschaham. Haran means to steal. And death steals everything away from people. But for a devotee, death is begging his mercy, begging for his mercy with folded hands. And what does a pure devotee, a liberated soul do? Place his feet on death's head to climb onto the chariot to go to Vaikuntha. So this is how a pure devotee is treated by different personalities in this planet. Even death is begging for his mercy. So this is how Dhruva Maharaj went to Dhruva Loka, the planet which is actually Vaikuntha planet. And Dhruva Maharaj is still there, he is ruling over that planet. He is the eternal associate of the Lord there. So in this way we can see how when one sincerely serves the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Supreme Lord bestows His benediction upon him in the most wonderful way. The most wonderful way. We should not think that Krishna is not seeing us or hearing us. No, Krishna is watching us at every moment. He is seeing us at every moment, how we are behaving, what is the state of our consciousness, what is going on at the depth of our hearts, what is going on at the depth of our hearts. And accordingly, He will reciprocate. Upadrashta, He is the witness. He is seeing us, and accordingly He will reciprocate. When He sees that we are sincerely trying to make spiritual advancements, when He sees that we are sincerely trying to serve Him, then He will reciprocate. But when He sees that we are just pretending, then He will cheat us. He's the supreme cheater. If we want to cheat him, then he will cheat us in such a way that we'll never forget. Not that never forget, we'll forget him. His cheating is that we'll forget and fall into Maya and suffer in this material nature. Therefore, when it comes to dealing with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, we have to be very, very open and honest. No more cheating, no more deception, no more falsity. It should be absolutely truthful and honest. And then Krishna will reciprocate in the most wonderful way. Now that we have accepted this path of devotional service, now that we have accepted the position, the situation of becoming Krishna's servant, let us become his servant in the most sincere way. That is, we are his servant, that is it. We are his servant. And his servant means his servant's servant. Whoever is representing, we become his servant. And in this way, we become free from our false ego. False ego is what is preventing us from approaching Krishna. Maya javanika channam, the curtain of Maya. And that curtain of Maya is false ego. It's because of false ego, we cannot see the Supreme Personality. But when the curtain of false ego will be removed, when there is no more concept of me and mine as an enjoyer, when there is no more tendency, no tendency left to try to exploit this material nature, no tendency to establish ourselves in a big position as an enjoyer of this material nature, then yes, Krishna will bestow his mercy. Whether we see him face to face or not, that is irrelevant. Even though we may not see him, but if we become sincere in our service to him, then he will see us and he will take care of us. He will provide us with the most wonderful facilities, and he'll make all the arrangements so that we can render our service to him to our heart's content. So this is how wonderful Krishna is. And from Srimad Bhagavatam, through these anecdotes like Dhruva Maharaj, as it has been described here, we get to see how the Lord grants his benediction to the sincere souls. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Premanande, Shri Shri Radha Madhava, Shri Shri Krishna Balaram ki jai, Shri Shri Gaur Nitai. Does anybody have any question or comment? Yes.
Maharaj, actually I went to the planet. So why would the planet is basically predominated by the Supreme Lord, and there everyone is pure devotee and serving spontaneously. So what does it really mean that because where the Spirit Lord is already present, how does it how is it understood that no one is the thing, because the topmost standing there is the Spirit Lord himself, not
but the Lord is letting Dhruva Maharaj manage the show. He is letting him manage the show. Right? It is not that. It's sometimes, like for example, Prabhupada sometimes used to let his disciples manage. Okay, you manage. Right? So managing doesn't mean that he lost control over it. If he lets somebody else manage, and like Dhruva Maharaj is managing, but Dhruva Maharaj is not thinking that now he has become the proprietor of this planet. He knows that it is the Lord's planet, and what he is doing is that he is making all the arrangements for his worship. He is making everybody engaged in the service of God. And the Lord is the predominating deity there, the person. Yes, Adele?
It seems that Dhruva Maharaj's mother, was she more relaxed than her husband? Or was she just giving her child some advice because she didn't really know?
Say it again, I couldn't get it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dhruva Maharaj's mother gave him the instruction to go to seek out Lord Krishna. Was she more relaxed than her husband because she gave him proper instruction, whereas her husband had not?
Very good. Yeah. Looks like. And yes, sometimes it happens. Like, and here also we see, like Dhruva Maharaj, when he was going to Vaikuntha, then Dhruva Maharaj felt an immense gratitude towards his mother, because his mother actually directed him to Hari. And he asked the Vishnu Dutas that, I don't want to go without my mother. Like, what is happening to my mother? Let me just get her also to come to, because she's the one who guided me on this path. And the Vishnu Dutas then said, look, there is another chariot ahead of you, and your mother is going in that chariot. So obviously, because of guiding Dhruva Maharaj in the right path, she also received the benefit. And yes, as you asked, yes, apparently is more advanced spiritually than her husband. And also another thing is that sometimes, due to suffering, we become more surrendered to the Lord. So because she was suffering, she had been deprived, of her position as a queen. She was living in a hut in a distant place. So it must have been very painful for her, but that pain actually cleansed her heart. That fire of pain burned all the impurities away from her heart. Thank you. Yes.
Devotee sometimes finds himself in the midst of services, particularly administrative, like wherein he has to kind of, manage certain situations in which it becomes difficult for him to be, humble. So how is it that, a devotee in any kind of service, maintain this kind of attitude?
Okay. Yeah. The false ego and the humble disposition is not the same thing. Not to have false ego doesn't mean necessarily being humble. Right? Or being humble doesn't necessarily mean being free from false ego. Right? Like the humble disposition, the false ego is our tendency to think that I am the enjoyer. I am the greatest. I am the supreme. So as long as one thinks that he is the supreme, how will he be able to see the supreme personality of God? But somebody may be free from false ego, but he may not be that humble. Like for example, Arjuna, by fighting the battle of Kurukshetra, does he look very humble at that time? But does it mean that Arjuna was affected by his false ego? No. You see, that is the way to get rid of our false ego. If we become surrendered to Krishna and become engaged in his service, then there is no false ego. We have become situated in our real identity. And in that service, if we become arrogant, it is not a result of our false ego. Right? Because as a servant I am arrogant. Like Hanuman is going to Ravan and telling him, who the hell you are? Just one kick on your head and I'll send you to Patala, the abode of Jamaraj. Angad, the son of Bali, went to Ravan as a messenger of Ramchandra. Ravan was sitting on a throne high up, and Angad was down below. He appeared as the messenger of Lord Ramchandra, but they saw him as a monkey and thinking that this character didn't give any recognition. But Angad felt that I am the representative of Ramchandra, so my position should be higher than Ravana. So he extended his tail and made a ring out of it and made a seat for himself, which was higher than Ravana's. Now, apparently, it seems that he is so proud of himself. But yes, his pride is in relation to the Supreme Personality of God. Therefore, it's not false ego, it's spiritual. The Lord's devotees are proud. But that is spiritual pride. It's not a reflection of false ego.
Krishna, I have two questions. Firstly, we understand from Srimad Bhagavatam that there are 14 parallel systems in the universe. So where does Guru actually fit in that scheme with different parallel systems?
Yeah. There are 14 planetary systems, but Dhruvaloka is not one of those 14 planetary systems. It can be situated on that in the universe, but doesn't belong to these 14 planetary systems. Like it's not in Maharloka, Janaloka, Tapaloka, or Satyaloka. It is Dhruvaloka, another one, which is beyond this 14 planetary system. Okay.
Another question, you mentioned that spirit soul is not affected by external conditions. You should take example of Guru Maharaj and the Kshatriya. So, as far as this quality of Brahman Kshatriya relationship, they are basically interaction of the spirit soul maybe over lifetimes with the modes of nature. So,
if it is spiritual, then it is the spirit soul. But if it is pertaining to the subtle body, then it is. Like for example, a Kshatriya is a Kshatriya because his subtle body is like that of a Kshatriya. And he acts accordingly, even though a child. Because he is acting according to the nature of his subtle body. Similarly, also we get instances in Srimad Bhagavatam and scriptures, like some Brahmanas, even in their childhood, they are so Brahmanic. For example, Jamunacharya, when he was 8 years old, he challenged the greatest scholar of the time in that kingdom and defeated him. Now, apparently he is only 8 years old. So we have to understand that his spirit soul was so advanced in his Brahminical qualities that he could, his wisdom was far superior to the greatest scholar of that time. Okay, thank you very much. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Gaur Premanande.